I'm Adrian, the cruise and travel guy. I recently returned from 2 weeks on board Royal Princess, the very first Royal class ship that Princess Cruises launched over a decade ago. It happened to be our first multi-generational family cruise, and I've linked to a separate review that covers the family cruise experience in the description. For this review though, I'm going to focus more on the ship and the general cruise experience, talking about some things that I liked and a few things that I didn't. Royal Princess was introduced as the very first Royal class ship when she was delivered to Princess Cruises in 2013. She represented a new era for Princess, being the largest cruise ship to ever operate for the cruise line and debuting a number of new features and design elements that clearly separated her from her Grand and Coral class predecessors. She comes in at approximately 145,000 gross tons, roughly 25% larger than the previous biggest ship in the fleet, the 2004-built Sapphire Princess. Compared to Sapphire though, Royal Princess carries 35% more passengers at double occupancy, representing a disparity between the increase in her size and the increase in her passenger count, an issue that I'll get to soon. Inside, the ship is an amalgamation of what most loved and appreciated about the older Grand class ships. That means beautifully crafted interiors with dark timbers, lashings of marble and ornate detailing. Elegant even today, but you wouldn't be blamed for thinking she arrived on the scene even earlier than her 2013 launch date. At the center of it all is her stunning atrium. Princess calls this space the Piazza. Compared to her older sisters, Royal Princess's central hub is noticeably larger and more rectangular. It's a truly stunning area, with twin spiral staircases and chandeliers, making it appear even more stately and luxurious. It's from here that you can access most of the public areas on board, including bar and dining venues. Like her predecessors, Royal Princess offers a multitude of intimate lounges and bars, and most of these are accessed from or through here. Princess has always crafted its ships with a focus on multiple, smaller format public spaces. I've always loved being able to move through them on board a Princess ship, stopping here for a drink or there for a bite to eat, and Royal Princess continues that theme beautifully. Outdoors, the classic wraparound promenade deck of her older sisters has been lost, and passengers can no longer walk the full circumference of the ship on this outer deck. It was one of the main criticisms of the ship when she launched, and unfortunately the trend has exploded amongst the cruise industry in the years that followed. Up top, Royal Princess offers a central pool deck. There are 2 pools, although one is only a plunge pool. The 2 are really not quite large enough to cater for a full complement of passengers, especially on warm weather cruises. A fountain located between the 2 pools was one of the ship's debut features. It's used as an extension of the pool deck during the day, becoming a dance floor and event space at other times, and most excitingly, as a water fountain show that's coupled with synchronized lights and music. The fountain show is held multiple times throughout each cruise and is worth catching at least once. The pool deck also features Princess's Movies Under the Stars screen. The giant screen was the first of its type when it debuted on Caribbean Princess in 2004, and now features across Princess's entire fleet. You can watch blockbuster movies, concerts, sports events, and more during any cruise, with a particular focus on the Under the Stars portion, seeing the sun lounges converted into comfortable movie seating by night. The Movies Under the Stars experience operates throughout the cruise on most nights and is a nice way to spend a night on board if you're looking for something a little bit more casual and low-key. In my experience though, daytime movies can completely take over the pool deck. The volume of movie playback can be so loud that it really does just obliterate any sense of peace or relaxation on the main pool deck if that was at all your intention. Thankfully, there is another outdoor space on board Royal Princess, the adults only retreat. My favorite area on Royal Princess, it's an adult's oasis of sorts, complete with a very deep, freshwater swimming pool and 2 hot tubs. The retreat bar will quench your thirst for a poolside cocktail, and let me recommend to you the frozen blue margarita. It's not as obscene as its color might suggest, and in fact it was the perfect pairing for a day by the pool. While it looks like there are plenty of lounges available, the reality is that when the sun is shining, these are in hot demand and hard to come by if you enjoy a sleep in. This isn't an experience unique to Royal Princess, but it's a reminder that you're sailing with over 3,500 other passengers when at capacity, and potentially even more when third and fourth berths are occupied. Availability of poolside lounges isn't helped on Royal Princess by a design change that was made in comparison to her older fleet mates. That was the removal of the aft pool. Prior to Royal Princess's launch, Princess had basically always offered an aft pool, providing another outdoor poolside space for passengers to enjoy during a day at sea. Although those ships can likewise become busy on sunny days at sea, the extra pool and outdoor area created effectively an overflow zone for people to explore as well. So significant was the change that Princess actually reversed it on the later Royal class ships, adding an aft pool to the Enchanted, Sky, and Discovery Princess. And if you want to see what a next level Princess cruise looks like, then click up top or in the description below to watch my Sun Princess review. Problems finding a spot on board weren't exclusive to the outdoors. It became especially difficult finding seating in the piazza and other indoor venues at certain times throughout the day and night. The piazza is understandably a popular spot, but even strolling further along Deck 7 into other bar venues or lounge venues would often result in finding not even one spare seat. This is an issue that might be more prevalent on specific itineraries and particular voyages, thanks to weather or even demographics, but it really felt like there was at times nowhere to go. It's indicative of what can happen when cruise lines bump up passenger numbers without accounting for increased public space. When it comes to technology, I have no issues in claiming that Princess Cruises has beaten every other cruise line when it comes to its Medallion and accompanying app. The entire pre-cruise and onboard experience is hinged on this little coin-like device and an app that is now in its second iteration and much improved over the original version. For those new to the brand, the easiest way to think about the Medallion is that it replaces your typical cruise card. It's what you use to scan on and off the ship, it's your room key, and it's what you use to make purchases. Except it's so much better in every measurable way. Your cabin door unlocks before you arrive, most of the time, and so you're saved from having to fumble with a key or card and instead only need to open the door. When you approach a bar or shop or a waiter comes to serve you, your photo and name appears on a tablet, making for a more personal experience than what you typically receive on a ship with thousands of other guests. There's also a huge advantage for families or groups of friends that travel together because you can opt in to sharing your location. Parents will always be able to see where their kids are, and children can likewise locate their parents using one of the ship's public screens if they don't have their own smartphone or device. Don't worry, you don't need to share your location, but it can definitely help keep track of everyone. One of the other things that I really love about the Medallion app is the ability to chat to crew. Think about any time you've ever had to visit guest services to fix a problem on your account or report an issue with your stateroom. Well, now you don't need to do that at all. All you have to do is open the crew chat section of the app and make your request in writing. I've used it countless times and it is such a time saver. No longer having to go to guest services in person feels like a luxury typically reserved for suite guests with concierge access. In my experience, I'd receive a response, if not an entire resolution to my problem, within 10 or so minutes. I found that being as detailed as possible in my initial message was the easiest way to make sure that my issue was resolved quickly. Ocean now was a game changer when it first launched, and the service is still excellent. It's what Princess calls their onboard delivery service, think room service, but for the most part, your order comes to wherever you are on board. Some venues like the dining room and theatre are excluded. Nevertheless, you can order everything from food to cocktails and have it brought to your location. And while the wait can sometimes head north of 15 to 20 minutes, it saves guests from having to hunt down waiters or find bars and can definitely help maximize your downtime on board if relaxation is your aim. It's not free for everyone though, and we'll talk about that now. I can't talk about Princess cruises without discussing their fare structure. For those of you familiar with it, you can use the chapter tool to jump to the next section if you prefer. In essence, Princess has a 3 fare tier structure. It begins with standard, progresses to plus, and then to premier. And as you can imagine, each jump in level comes with a jump in price and inclusions. Standard provides guests with the usual cruise experience, that is, accommodation, all meals on board at the included venues, of which there are options available 24/7, all onboard entertainment, basic beverages such as iced water, tea, filter coffee and juice at breakfast, plus Ocean Now delivery, the one we just spoke about, can be had for a one-off fee of around 23 Australian dollars or 15 US dollars. Plus ups the ante somewhat, and for 65 Australian dollars extra per day includes the Plus Drinks package, itself covering all barista-made coffees and specialty teas, plus all non-alcoholic beverages, drinks from the Fresh Juice bar, and then 15 alcoholic beverages per day, up to a value of 22 Australian dollars or 15 US dollars per drink. It also includes unlimited Wi-Fi for one device, 2 premium desserts per day, think obscenely large sundaes and slices of cake, 2 hosted fitness classes per cruise, and 2 set meals at the new casual dining venues, which I'll talk about in more detail shortly. It also includes Ocean Now delivery at no additional cost. Premier is the top of the tree, and for 95 Australian dollars extra per day, swaps out the Plus Drinks package for the Premier Drinks package, itself covering up to 15 alcoholic drinks per day, up to a value of 30 Australian dollars per beverage or 20 US dollars per drink. It also includes Wi-Fi for 4 devices at a time, access to reserved seating in the theatre up until about 15 minutes before showtime, unlimited hosted fitness classes, unlimited premium desserts, unlimited prix-fixe meals or set menu meals at the casual dining venues, as well as a photo package and 2 specialty restaurant meals per voyage. On the included dining front, Princess offers a wide variety of choices that should satisfy most tastes. There are 3 smaller scale main restaurants where a la carte dining is available for breakfast every morning, lunch on sea days, and dinner daily. These are cozy spaces with the feeling of an intimate dining room. That means they're a little less chaotic than multi-story cruise ship dining rooms, and it's something I've always enjoyed about Princess's ships. The menus change daily, with a staple selection of traditional items that remains the same, and then a rotating roster of dishes inspired by the cruise destination as well as other themes. There's a buffet, of course, and it's located up top on the pool deck. It offers a wide variety of included food across breakfast, lunch, and dinner, along with some items that are available in between main meal service. There's everything from salad stations to roasts, sandwiches, tapas-style selections, cold cuts and cheese, freshly baked breads, and a varied range of desserts. Plus, in our cabin on boarding day, there was a schedule that outlined each different themed meal or dinner that would be available in the buffet over the course of the 14 nights. Although some options remained consistent, dining here never felt quite the same across 2 different days. It's also easy to just walk in and grab and go, particularly if you're on the pool deck. Outdoors by the pool, there are even more additional included dining venues. There's pizza by the slice, burgers and hot dogs, tacos and loaded fries. There's also soft serve as much as you can eat, and all in all, the variety of poolside included dining helps make a day by the pool or outside about as easy and fuss-free as it gets, particularly for those of you with kids. Downstairs, Princess's famous International Cafe is open 24/7. It offers a variety of sweet and savory meals and snacks that change throughout the day and night. It's an excellent little spot. You can always rely on it for a quick fix or even something more substantial, and it's all included in every fare. Additionally, Royal Princess offers 2 specialty dining venues: Crown Grill for the classic steakhouse experience and Sabatini's for Italian cuisine. Both are terrific options for something extra special, while I personally think Crown Grill is the better choice of the 2. At the time of recording, the cost for Crown Grill is 63 Australian dollars per adult, while Sabatini's costs 55. but don't be surprised if this continues to creep upwards. In 2023, Princess complicated its fare structure and food offering when it launched what it now calls casual dining. A third dining tier, it effectively sits between the included dining options and the top-level specialty restaurants. On Royal Princess, this includes Alfredo's Pizzeria and Ocean Terrace Seafood and Sushi Bar. On other ships, this extends to O'Malley's Pub, Salty Dog Gastropub, and more. Those traveling on Princess's base standard fare have to pay to dine at the casual venues throughout any cruise, whether they're ordering from the a la carte menu or from the set menu option, which these casual dinings have also adopted. Those on Princess Plus can choose the set menu option twice during any voyage at no additional cost. Those on the Premier Fare tier can dine at the casual venues an unlimited number of times during their voyage, as long as they pick the set menu. Princess's most loyal cruisers have been vocal online about these changes, as on the whole it feels like a loss of inclusions, which I totally understand. Personally, I just think the whole arrangement is confusing, and although I understand how it works and functions, I've spoken to dozens of people both in person and online that are just unable to get their heads around the concept of included dining, casual dining, specialty dining, and how they all synchronize with Princess's 3 fare tiers. And it's not a them problem, it's a Princess problem. It's just all too convoluted. Having said that, based on what I've heard, these changes have not impacted on Princess's appeal to cruisers at all. So maybe it's a bit of a storm in a teacup, but my previous work in customer experience management tells me that this was never handled in quite the right way. Over the course of our 2-week cruise, we pretty much tried every venue. On the whole, food was well presented, tasty and filling. There was certainly no shortage of options. One of our family members also has strict dietary requirements, and these were always accommodated without fuss. And actually, our head waiter and the restaurant manager were genuinely invested in making sure that her needs were met, and that attention to detail and care really had a positive impact on our overall cruise experience. Princess Cruises is commonly known for having some of the best crew in the industry, and Royal Princess was no different. From servers and waiters to bartenders, cleaners and room attendants, everyone we interacted with over the 2 weeks was just brilliant. I did provide everyone's names in my post-cruise survey, and it's always worth noting down the names of people that you really have enjoyed their interactions or your interactions with them when you're cruising, so that when you do get your post-cruise survey, you can include their names. It really does make a big impact to their progression through the company and their career. Royal Princess offers the usual array of accommodation on board, but actually misses out on ocean view or outside category staterooms. She has inside cabins, balcony cabins, deluxe balcony cabins, mini suites, and a variety of full suites. All are comfortable, with inside and balcony cabins the most compact of the bunch. Deluxe balcony cabins add a small sitting area to the regular balcony cabin layout, which is more comfortable on longer journeys. Mini suites are typical Princess from this era, with extended cabins featuring a separate bedroom and lounge area, each with a television. Plus, they have a larger bathroom that features a shower over a bath. All in all, we had a comfortable stay on board, but there's no doubt that these cabins do lag behind more modern interpretations of cruise ship accommodation, most notably Princess's very own Sun Princess. And you can watch my tour of a deluxe Sun Princess balcony cabin by clicking the card above. Princess Cruises targets a more mature demographic, and this is evident with the entertainment that you'll find on board. Days at sea in particular are broken up with bingo, port and general interest lectures, group fitness classes, as well as various group gatherings featuring cards and board games. You'll find all of the entertainment options and activities listed in the Princess newsletter, which is delivered every night, or on the Medallion app, from where you can even save those that you're interested in. There were definitely some more lively entertainment options though, with trivia being really fun, and a few opportunities for passengers to verse officers in competitions like egg drops and dance-offs. Michael even got involved in a bartending challenge on the pool deck and took the win for his round with his incomparable shaking skills and habit of generous free pouring. He easily secured the vote from the cruise director. There were also shows in the main theatre, one of which we managed to catch before the very end of the cruise, which was definitely one of the better cruise ship theatre productions I've seen. Most main shows were offered twice per night, with showtime around 7 PM and then 9:30 PM. There were guest entertainers with comedians, a hypnotist, musicians, and guest lecturers on board too. Although Royal Princess lacks a dedicated nightclub space, a DJ booth was set up in the piazza quite late at night and would run until the dance floor cleared, which admittedly was pretty early during our cruise. At other times in the piazza, there were live music acts and bands playing throughout the day and night, but one of my biggest criticisms, which has remained the same for years now, is that the volume of most musical acts in the space is just too loud. I can't for the life of me figure out what the purpose or reasoning behind that is. It is honestly so screamingly loud that you'll be sitting next to people trying to have a conversation and you just can't. In my opinion, the piazza is too much of a centralized, multi-use space to have it used for what sounds like concerts. There are restaurants, bars, shops, so it can't just be about the music, and honestly, Princess should do something about it. Music should be used, especially in centralized public spaces, but it should create an atmosphere or ambience. It shouldn't rule the space completely. We chose a 14-night South Pacific cruise, which was effectively the longest voyage itinerary that we could pick that fit in with our personal requirements and logistics. The cruise was actually a big family holiday, and so our intention was less about the destinations and more about spending time together on board in a relaxing environment, and we were able to do that. Our cruise took us to many places that I had been to before, including Noumea, Mystery Island, Vila, and Fiji's Lautoka. Dravuni Island was a new port for me, and I really enjoyed exploring some of the small island and spending some time in the beautiful ocean. But mostly, this cruise for our family wasn't about the ports. If you'd like to see more about the South Pacific ports I've mentioned, I've linked to some of my previous cruises in the description below. Royal Princess is a beautiful but flawed ship. She's served by an incredible crew and offers a wide variety of included dining for those of you that enjoy your food. Her technology and that of her fleet mates is easily the best in the cruise industry, and it's probably reason enough to consider or choose a Princess cruise. Although a little convoluted, I think Princess's fare structure is actually quite solid, and for me, Princess Plus, the mid-tier level, is really the value sweet spot. At 65 Australian dollars per day, I was able to utilize the included value with access to a huge variety of beverages such as cocktails, soft drinks, and barista coffee, combining with unlimited internet, making the value proposition totally worth it for me. When sailing at capacity, however, Royal Princess suffers from a lack of public space. Limited seating in venues, especially for groups of friends or family, make social catch-ups more difficult than they should be. This wouldn't totally sway me from picking Royal Princess again, but it's something I would keep in mind, and in particular, I just got off Sun Princess, which was sailing at capacity, and I never found that same experience of not being able to find somewhere to sit or to be or to exist in public. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Would you sail on Royal Princess, or have you sailed on Royal Princess, and did you find a similar thing that I did with the lack of public space? If you're looking to book a cruise, whether on Princess or any other line, you can head to my website, thecruiseandtravelguy.com.au, and make sure you give me a follow on Facebook and Instagram at The Cruise and Travel Guy to stay up to date with my travels as they happen. Thanks again for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. For this review though, I'm going to focus more on the ship and the general cruise. Hi. She represented a new era for Princess. Being the largest ship that Being the largest cruise ship that the cruise line ever operated. Problems finding a spot on board was the easiest way to ensuring whatever it was resolved.